Okay, we are live once again on this Tuesday evening. We are still, of course, covering the primary runoff elections, but a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect now for Webb County. And so for that, we are going to turn to Richard Heatwave Burler, our chief meteorologist. Heatwave, how's it going?
Well, we have some strong thunderstorms about 42, 43 miles to the west. And unlike yesterday when we had a pronounced cap of desert air overhead that made it hard for air to lift, it had to lift to 10,000 feet up before it'd be warmer, less dense than the surrounding air and continue to rise. And a cluster of storms that moved out of Mexico into Zapata County created a cool pool of rain-cooled air which moved northward, and that lifted our moist air up to 10,000 feet. So an isolated, very strong thunderstorm developed. Tonight, not much of a cap at all, so the air is very buoyant to rise. So these storms will all be strong when they arrive across the river. And you can see on the image a whole lot of lightning with these storms. And unlike last night where they died out almost immediately after popping up over Laredo and points south, these are going to survive and take a trip much further into South Texas. Looking at a three-dimensional look, you can see how tall these clouds are. Some of these clouds are 55, even 60,000 feet high. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I lost the map. Give me a second. Heatwave, we're working on it. All right, there you
go. These are very tall clouds. Some hail associated with them, mainly small. The main impact of these storms will be wind. There will likely be some 60-mile-per-hour gusts with the stronger cells. That's not to say that everybody's going to have 60-mile-per-hour winds, but the stronger cells will. And almost everybody will get a pretty generous rain out of these as they come in. I'm expecting in the Laredo area they get here somewhere around 9:30 or 9:45 in the evening.
All right, were those the only maps we were going to share, Heatwave?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so let me just take a look once again at that 3D radar. So that band of heavy storms that we see there in Anahuac, is that headed for Laredo? All of that coming our way for sure, or?
Yeah, it looks pretty certain that we're going to get these thunderstorms. They're moving just about due east. The map is almost oriented where the top is north, the south is, the bottom is south. It's tilted a little bit where the top of the map is kind of north-northeast, and the bottom of the map is south-southwest.
All right, so if I can have you look at the camera over there, Heatwave. And so what did we see last night? Last night, how is it going to differ from what we saw last night?
Well, last night we had a cap of desert air overhead, which made it real hard for the air to lift where it would get to 10,000 feet. We had desert air overhead, so to get to where the air would be buoyant to rise to form tall clouds, we had to have some mechanism to lift it to 10,000 feet. And a pool of rain-cooled air from thunderstorms that moved north and east from Monterey across Starr County into Zapata County, that was the impetus to rise our moist air. It was rather scattered. Laredo got the main thunderstorm of that event, and they almost immediately by 12 o'clock collapsed under that cap of desert air aloft. The cap of desert air really made it hard to maintain the updrafts to these storms, so they fell apart. And it wasn't even all Laredo that got a lot of rain. It was mainly the eastern portion of Loop 20, especially from Lake Casablanca and south of Saunders and south into South Laredo, that had the inch or two of rain. Our old station on Del Mar had just traces of rain, but pretty much everybody got the wind from that last night. The airport had a 56-mile-per-hour wind gust. But the difference between last night and tonight is we don't have much of a cap of desert air, so you really don't have to lift the air much to get it to be buoyant, warmer, less dense than the surrounding air, and for it to rise. And as you saw on that 3D radar, it's rising to great heights, 55, 60,000 feet high.
So give us a timeline. What time could we be seeing these thunderstorms?
I'm expecting somewhere around 9:30, 9:45 is when they'd move into the Laredo area. They're moving east at about 30 miles per hour, so that would put them into the Oilton, Miranda City area, perhaps 10:30 or so.
Yeah, and this would be more rain than we saw last night?
Much more widespread.
Widespread.
South Laredo, which had an inch or two, this might not top that, but a lot of Laredo had very little. We had the wind, but not a whole lot of rain in total. This should be pretty general across.
And high winds again, right?
Yeah, again, the risk of some 60-mile-per-hour winds from the stronger cells.
Does this go into a warning at some point, or does it remain a watch, heat wave?
It will probably go into a warning as they get closer in. Northwestern Webb County already has a severe thunderstorm warning. You saw on that map that it was already encroaching upon the northwestern part of the county.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that heat wave, and I know you'll be on in the late edition, and by then we could already see some action then for sure, right?
We will.
All right. Thank you, heat wave. And on that note, I will tell you that we do have results for, let's see here. We do have results for the election. So if you give me a second, let me orientate myself. I know that we were talking weather, but we're going to switch gears here. So I'm not going to start another live. What I am going to do is I'm going to figure out where I'm at here. All right, so give me a second. Heatwave's got my mic there. I think he wants to give it back. Okay, so we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to talk about the election. And the final numbers for Webb County are now coming in to the newsroom. I don't have the graphics, so we're just going to have to share the screen here, and we'll go over them together. Let me zoom in a little bit. Again, these are the unofficial final results. Total number of ballots cast was just at about where we thought it was going to be, at 15,445. So about 5,000 came out to vote today, is what Jose Luis Castillo, the elections administrator, had anticipated, and they were right on. This first Republican picture here is interesting because Lázaro Garza Jr. here in Webb County did take the vote over Jay Furman, but at the statewide level, I believe Jay Furman is ahead, and so we'll have to take a look at that in just a little bit. Same situation with Rosie Cuellar and Cecilia Castellano. Rosie does take Webb County 1,763 votes over Cecilia Castellano 1,542. I'm going to have to check that against the state website. And then Sheriff Martin Cuellar does pull away there. He's going to take the victory over Wayo Ruiz, and Sheriff Martin Cuellar will serve another term starting in January of 2025. He gets a little over 57% of the vote with 8,073. He tops Wayo Ruiz by a little over 2,000 votes. Wayo picked up 6,004. So that race is now officially over. The Sheriff Cuellar will not have an opponent in November, and he will remain sheriff. We do have a new constable. We were going to have a new constable regardless for Precinct 4, and that is going to be Rolando Role San Miguel. He was well ahead in early voting, and he does maintain that lead and take the victory with almost 58% of the vote, 3,387 to 2,466. So if you bear with me here, I'm going to look at the state website because this is where we're going to see how things are looking for. Let me start with the Democratic side. So at this point, I'm just basically sharing my screen. This is I guess this is what the Secretary of State website that we get these results from. And we're going to go to the district offices, District 80. And so here you go. I know you can't really see, but I'm going to share the screen. Right in the middle of your screen, you see that Cecilia Castellano has 2,604 votes over Rosie Cuellar's 1,936. So as of right now, and we can expand this and see which counties have reported. You see that Dimmitt County is done. Frio has still some precincts that haven't reported. Atascosa has some precincts that have not reported. Those are not going to be very big precincts, as you can tell from the early votes. Uvalde also is not done reporting. It's not showing the Webb County numbers, only the early voting. And so We would have to do some math here before the state actually reports final numbers here to see where we are with this race. So we're going to have to stick with this race and see how it turns out because, again, not all these precincts are done reporting, and the state numbers do not show, at least not in the breakout, the Webb County. So we're having to keep an eye on this race. Again, we go back to District 80 right there. And right now, Cecilia Castellano is leading Rosie Cuellar. Not the case here in Webb County. As we showed you, Rosie took Webb County. On the Republican side, again, Lázaro Garza pretty much ran away with it here in Webb County, but at the, if you factor in all the other counties, state rep. Let's go to federal offices. Yeah, so Jay Furman has a huge lead, and I think AP has already declared him the winner for this race. So even though Lázaro Garza topped Furman here in Webb County, Furman almost basically doubles his votes over Lázaro Garza as of right now. And so they've already declared him the winner for this race. And so this is the race now that everybody's going to be keeping an eye on. It's going to get probably national attention. The Republicans are trying to flip this seat. Congressman Henry Cuellar, having been indicted, him and his wife, his trial is not till March. He told us yesterday, he told KGNS, he's going to run. He is not backing out of this election for November. And so if he wins it again in November, then he could be potentially facing a trial in March on these indictments that were brought against him. But now this case, this race just takes a little, it's going to be interesting to see what Jay Furman's strategy is. Is he going to throw the indictment at Cuellar the entire campaign? Cuellar does have a lot of support here in Laredo. He's got a lot of support in Washington. And so you just wonder if it is going to be enough for the Republicans to flip this seat or not. But this will be interesting. November elections will be here sooner than you think. It's going to be a big election. You've got the presidential race on there. You have got 4 city council races. They're going to be making some amendments to the charter, or some proposed amendments to the charter. So the hope is that a lot of people will go out and vote. But we'll see. I am going to, I'm going to mute my mic real quick. Okay, so what I do have is video of Martín Cuellar's campaign headquarters. Just give me a minute here to download that, and then we will get that on. If you're just joining us, we started this with heat wave because we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. We could be seeing those thunderstorms around 9:30. You saw that he showed the activity coming into the gateway city. Possibly he's predicting about 9:30. So we're keeping an eye on that. And then I just saw that there might be traffic backing up somewhere for some reason. And so stay with us. If you're watching on Facebook and you started out watching because of the weather, we took care of that at the top. And now we've switched to the final results for the elections. And we are also... we're also efforting a call with Marisa Rodriguez Limon, who is out at Congressman Henry Cuellar's campaign headquarters. Give me a minute while I get this video on. I'm clicking on everything except what I need to click on, so bear with me. All right, so we're waiting for Marisa Rodriguez Limon to call in. But in the meantime, we do have video from... we do have video from... all right, stand by. Let's see. All right, you know what? We'll go to the video in just a second. I've got Marisa standing by. Hang on, Marisa. I'm working on it.
Salma, tráemelo, tráelo. Ah, ok. Es que aparte no oigo.
Hang on, Marisa. I'm getting there. Can you find it? I need to be able to hear Marisa. I know we can hear Marisa, but I need to
No
be
se
able to
oye
hear her
mucho, voy a
to be
salirme
able to go.
para
Hang on,
afuera.
Marisa. Is she talking?
Me voy a salir para afuera.
Yes, she is.
Pues ni modo que para adentro, ¿verdad?
All right, stand by, Marisa. Stand by. Are you there, Marisa? Okay, we do have Marisa Rodriguez Limon live at Sheriff Martin Cuellar's headquarters. Marisa, go ahead. Can you hear me, Marisa?
Afuera, afuera.
Can you hear me, Marisa? Can you hear me? I know she's got Sheriff Martin Cuellar there with her. Is she having a hard time hearing, or? All right, hang on a second.
Rubén,
Can you hear me, Marisa?
ahora sí te oigo. No oíamos porque estaba la música muy alta adentro.
Okay, Marisa Rodriguez Limon live at the campaign headquarters for Sheriff Martin Cuellar, who will now serve another term. He has officially defeated Wael Ruiz and will remain your sheriff. This term actually doesn't start until January of 2025 because Sheriff Cuellar does not have an opponent in November. Marisa, take it away. Sheriff, good evening and congratulations.
Así es, Sheriff. Pues Rubén se encuentra ya en nuestros estudios. Están haciendo una transmisión en vivo que se está viendo justo aquí en su evento donde están celebrando. ¿Qué palabras tiene usted para nuestro público, este apoyo que ha recibido?
Primeramente le quiero dar las gracias a mi familia, a mis trabajadores, había mucha gente leal, ¿verdad? Sí, sí había de los dos, ¿verdad? Pero de veras le quiero dar las gracias también a la comunidad, lo más importante de la comunidad. Le doy las gracias, vamos a seguir trabajando duro, como siempre hemos hecho, con todo el esfuerzo que tenemos. Acuérdense que tenemos una oficina nueva de 50,000 pies cuadrados que queremos abarrar, ¿verdad? Y queremos nosotros hacer lo mejor que se pueda para seguir sirviendo a la comunidad, pero también siendo número uno en el estado de Texas, más seguro del estado de Texas, de aquí de Laredo, Texas.
Alguacil, esta carrera fue muy controversial, hubo anuncios fuertes, campaña política fuerte. ¿Usted en algún momento dudó que quizás esto le iba a afectar o la situación que se está viviendo con su hermano y todo eso, pensó que le iba a afectar?
No, nunca pensaba de eso, ¿verdad? Las mentiras que echó Wael Ruiz con su gente, Tony González, Juan Hernández y todos esos que son gente que trabajaban antes conmigo y que se fueron, JJ Rendón. Eso no me iba a afectar porque yo sé que la gente buena de Laredo iba a votar y iba a creer en mí, ¿verdad? Que vamos a hacer el trabajo mejor que se pueda y vamos a seguir. Yo soy un policía de casi 44 años de servicio. Trabajé con el Departamento de Seguridad Pública por 27 años. Yo he hecho mucho más que ellos juntos, ¿verdad? Porque yo trabajé de patrullero, trabajé de investigador, trabajé en law enforcement y vamos a seguir trabajando duro para la comunidad. De eso se trata. Y trabajar juntos, Marisa. ¿Con qué? Con la policía. Con la policía. Y tenerlas bien seguros como siempre vamos a...
Thank you very much, Sheriff. How do you feel? I mean, this was really a lot of people in this race on March the 5th, and it had to go to the runoff, so you had some extra campaigning to do. What did you learn between the 5th of March and now that helped you during these last few weeks?
Well, after the primaries, we noticed that there was people that were against me, and they joined us, so, one of the hardest things is that we fought against the judicial system, which is, the district judges. There were 2 district judges that were against us, a municipal court judge that were against us, and I had proof of all that, and to me, they shouldn't get involved in stuff like that. So I knew I was fighting, a battle not only with Wayo Ruiz, and I was fighting a battle with other political figures that were involved in this race.
You persevered. You've been at it since 2008, Sheriff. You've got another term. This term doesn't even start until January of 2025, so you're already in the driver's seat. How amazing is that for you to be able to just continue the work that you're doing, knowing that you've got another term to serve Webb County?
It's very difficult. We're in the driver's seat from 2009, when I took over. But this race really took a lot from me because of all the dirty politics, the lies, and everything that was said about us and my staff and my family especially. So we're going to continue to do what's best for the community. That's what I'm about. 44 years, almost 44 years of law enforcement experience. I was telling some of my colleagues, the Laredo Police Department, that the things that were said about me, really hurts me, but I was looking ahead of that, because there's one thing that I want to continue to do is protect our families, and do the job that we're paid to get paid for, and I got the together with the commissioner's court and the judge, a heck of a salary adjustments for all my deputies, which now we're able to save more monies because deputies are not leaving, our agency. They're staying with us, and we want them to stay because we want them to do the best that they can with the sheriff's office.
When does the new building start? The new building. When do we see the new building?
The building?
New building.
The new building, they've been saying that it's going to be done, in 1 month, in 2 months. I really don't know. I'm very disappointed, with the, with the building as for now, because we've been at it for, I think, almost 3 years, and they keep postponing it, and all that. And to me, they're interfering with public safety because, we need to get together. We need to start some projects that we have, like the Real Crime Center, that we want to start, at the new office. And I invite the public, once that we, once that we're there, I'm going to invite the public to go see, the house breaking, the office breaking, a building. We want to show the community what this is about. This is about, their office. I don't have a boss over me. The community are my boss. The community, the people out there are my boss. And I'm going to do the best that I can, just like we did. That's why people voted for us. And that's why we need to continue to do the best job that we can, because that's what we're here for.
One final question, if I can, Marisa and Sheriff. Final question. Your sister is in a tough race right now for the District 80 seat. Your brother, Congressman Henry Cuellar, has a big race in November. You have the luxury now of continuing your job and supporting them. How do you get behind your sister and your brother for their races?
Well, we're going to continue what we believe in, and we believe in public service. My brother is very adamant about doing, public service for the community. We're going to continue to do what's right. And, I really think that my brother will win this election no matter what. And I feel that Rosie, I don't know what her status is as of right now, but if she does get, the Democratic nominee, Yes, of course.
All right. Thank you, Marisa.
I don't know what time in the morning, but I'll be up.
As long as you're watching, that's okay. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Vieira.
Gracias, Rubén, y invitamos
Marisa.
a nuestro público para que nos vean en nuestros noticieros. Tendremos más información, estaremos en vivo aquí en nuestro noticiero KGNS y en Telemundo Laredo. Que pasen muy buenas noches.
Marisa, you'll be on Telemundo at 10 o'clock. Will you be covering this race on the 10 o'clock newscast?
Así es,
Okay.
aquí estaremos.
Thank you for all your help, Marisa. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Well, there you have it. Let's see. There you go. Okay, there you have it. Sheriff Martin Cuellar will remain sheriff. He is the only Cuellar that has secured his spot in this election, in this runoff. He will remain sheriff, and his new term doesn't start until January 2025. We have his sister Rosie Cuellar, who's in a battle right now for the state senate. And that's the race we're keeping an eye on, because we can safely say that Congressman Henry Cuellar will be facing Jay Furman come November. I don't know that we know anything different about this race for Rosie Cuellar, do we? So all I have are the state numbers, and that shows still Cecilia Castellano leading Rosie Cuellar. But it looks like she picked up. They both picked up about the same amount. I'm looking at and I can show you what I'm looking at real quick. I'm looking at the precincts that are reporting for the state representative District 80. And Webb County, all the numbers are in and factored into the state numbers. You'll see, and whether you can or not, because it's kind of tiny on your screen, I would imagine, but both Castellano and Cuellar picked up about the same amount of votes, a little over 500. So, we've got Atascosa still doesn't show all of their precincts reporting. Doesn't look like a whole lot of voters are going to be making a difference in that one, and it leaned toward Cecilia. Dimmitt went to Cecilia. Frio is not done reporting. So far, they have gone to Cecilia. Uvalde is done reporting all of their precincts, and they are, let's see, Uvalde may have gone for Rosie Cuellar, it looks like. Yeah, Uvalde went for Rosie. Webb, of course, went for Rosie. Zavala went for Cecilia Castellano. And so what does that tell us? Atascosa, who favored Cecilia, and Frio are the only two counties that don't have all of their precincts reporting. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be enough for Rosie to pull this off. Looks like Cecilia Castellano with 2006. I'm sorry. I was looking at the early votes. Right now, Cecilia has 3,919. Rosie Cuellar has 3,012. So with almost 57% of the vote, it's looking more and more like Cecilia Castellano is going to take this race. And I'm basing that on the fact that you've only got two counties that aren't fully reporting. And of those two counties, there aren't a lot of votes to be accounted for, it looks like. And both of those counties have gone for Cecilia. So it's not looking good as of right now for Rosie. Her brother, Martin, has already secured his victory. Congressman Henry Cuellar, her other brother, will have to wait till November to try and secure his victory as well. Anybody waiting for us? We're done checking in. I think let's see here. I think I'm gonna default to the late edition, to the newscast at 10 o'clock for those results for Cecilia Castellano and Rosie Cuellar. We have everything else already pretty much set in stone. Oh, this is back up. Well, I haven't had a chance to share this, so let's go ahead and share this. These are your final numbers. Again, this is all votes in for Webb County. There you see Martin Cuellar taking the win over Wael Ruiz. We heard from him earlier. Thanks to Marisa Rodriguez Limon for getting that for us. Oh, I've not been able to. Hang on. Basically, just trying to show you one last time the results. We've pretty much gone over all of them. We started this broadcast as a weather broadcast, and it is now migrated to final results. And we're about to wrap up here and default. We've got plenty more coverage on KGNS News and on Telemundo. KGNS Plus has had your coverage all day long, starting from early today So here we go again. Let's try this again. Webb County Sheriff, there you have it. This is the race that is looking more and more like it's going to go to Cecilia Castellano. And she will face now, with 79% of the votes in, I'm going to guess that she may have been already declared the victor. I don't know yet. But again, looking at the counties that are left and the precincts that are left, it's going to be pretty tough for Rosie to overcome 900 votes. If that stays the same, then Cecilia Castellano will take on the mayor for Uvalde, Don McLaughlin. Webb County Constable Precinct 4, Role San Miguel, congratulations to him. 58% of the vote over Tina Guerra. So Jay Furman is already the projected winner for this race, and he will now take on Congressman Henry Cuellar. I believe Jay Furman is a former Navy commander, and this race will be interesting come November against Congressman Cuellar. We don't have results for the Zapata race, so again, just one final look. The one that has not been declared a winner yet is Cecilia Castellanos. So we'll have all of these results for you in just a little bit at 10 o'clock or the late edition on KGNS, on Telemundo. Plus, we've got all of our reporters out there, team coverage. They were all over the place today. I got to sit in here and sit behind this desk and just kind of watch everything as it unfolded. They did all the hard work, and they will show you all that hard work at 10 o'clock in both English and in Spanish on KGNS and on Telemundo. And so that concludes our coverage here on the KGNS Digital News Desk. My thanks to our producer, Ariel Gomez, who is the man behind the scenes, who pretty much navigated the whole show while I sat here and pretended to know what I was talking about. And then, of course, we had all of our reporters that checked in throughout the night. Marisa Rodriguez Limon, Orlando Gonzalez, Salma Lozano, and Liseli Garza, all of them. Thank you very much. Mindy Gasso checked in for us during the noon show. Again, it was team coverage here on KGNS Plus. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on KGNS News today at 6 o'clock in the morning. Have a blessed rest of your night.